After the recent wave of leaks from Asian display manufacturers, supply chain analysts, and several insiders in the mobile chip segment, it has become clear that the smartphone industry is preparing for a sharp turn. Companies that only yesterday were arguing about megapixels, flexible hinges, and charging speeds are now rapidly shifting toward a new idea: creating transparent devices where the body disappears and the interface literally floats in the air. But the biggest surprise is not that the trend is beginning to take shape. The surprise is who is actually ready to lead this race. While everyone expected Samsung or Xiaomi to be the first to show a commercially ready transparent smartphone, an unexpected name has surfaced, one that for a long time barely appeared in discussions about radical form factors. According to numerous sources, Huawei is preparing one of the most ambitious projects in the company's history: a fully transparent next-generation smartphone developed under the strictest secrecy. Informants familiar with the project claim that the key decisions were laid several years ago, when Huawei was looking for a way to bypass the limitations of classical design and reach a level of technology inaccessible to competitors. The company quietly created its own prototypes of transparent panels, experimented with under-display optics, and developed composite materials capable of withstanding stresses that ordinary glass cannot handle. These developments, which no one talked about at the time, have now become the foundation of the future device. According to engineers, Huawei is testing a construction in which the smartphone is a single monolithic block of multi-layer transparent material. All sensors are hidden inside the glass. The camera works through an optical layer, and the chipset and battery are shifted into an ultra-thin edge, almost invisible when viewed from the front. Leaks show that Huawei has managed to solve one of the most difficult problems: adapting a transparent display for real-world scenarios. On a standard transparent panel, the interface gets lost against the surrounding environment. The user sees a wall, a hand, light from a window, and the image becomes unreadable. According to sources, Huawei has implemented a special adjustable layer in the panel that allows the transparency level to change instantly, from a fully transparent mode to a matte dimming that turns the device into a regular high-brightness screen. This effect is achieved thanks to a hybrid structure of OLED and an electrochromic material the company developed for its AR projects in recent years. At the same time, Huawei is betting not only on the visual effect. According to several Chinese tech analysts, the device will feature integration with the new generation of artificial intelligence called Harmony Intelligence Core, a system designed to analyze the surrounding space, recognize objects, read gestures, display holographic elements, and function as a full digital layer on top of the real world. The idea is for the smartphone to stop being just a screen. It becomes a tool through which a person interacts with their environment. Sources claim that this is precisely why Huawei is actively experimenting with transparent structures. They allow interface elements to appear as if they are emerging directly in the air. Among suppliers, there is already circulating information that the company is testing next-generation under-display cameras using multi-level light diffusion. Engineers state that image quality on transparent samples is close to the results of flagship Mate devices, something previously considered impossible. The real challenge has been the battery. Huawei is considering two options: a hybrid partially transparent mini battery and a compact side-mounted high-density battery. Both solutions are still undergoing testing, but according to sources, progress is much faster than expected. If the information is confirmed, Huawei may show the first prototypes as early as 2026. And most importantly, the company views the device not as an experimental model, but as a potential starting point for a new lineup meant to redefine the concept of a smartphone. Some investors familiar with closed presentations say that inside Huawei, the project is called the future of the company after the classical smartphone era. Essentially, the market is approaching a moment when the familiar rectangular body will disappear and the phone will become a visual interface rather than a physical object. Analysts note that if Huawei truly enters the race first, it will completely change the balance of power. Unlike Samsung and Xiaomi, the company has long focused on autonomous computing, advanced sensors, and its own ecosystems. Adding a transparent form factor could return Huawei to the status of a company that sets trends rather than chases competitors. Moreover, the market is already showing fatigue from typical smartphone updates. Users want something that once again feels like magic. A transparent device combining AR, AI, and holographic interfaces perfectly matches that demand. Some sources suggest that Huawei is preparing a closed demonstration for major Asian investors, where it will show early working samples of the display system and adaptive dimming. If the demonstration takes place, it will serve as a signal to the entire industry. A new smartphone era is beginning, and it may be launched not by the usual market leader. Behind the scenes, there are already estimates that the project's success could bring Huawei billions of dollars and restore the impossible innovator reputation the company lost after numerous external restrictions of the past decade. While competitors fight for audience attention with yet another camera upgrade or reworked design, something unexpected is happening around Huawei. The company's internal engineering team has, for the first time in several years, received the green light for a project whose scale is compared to the transition from button phones to touchscreens. Sources note that in recent months, Huawei has seen a sharp shift in priorities. Developments related to classical form factors are being frozen, and resources are being redirected to experimental directions, the main one being the transparent smartphone. According to people working in the company's research centers in Shenzhen and Dongguan, Huawei's leadership sees the second half of 2026 as a window of opportunity. During this period, according to analysts, the market will face saturation of traditional smartphones, and the audience will begin to expect something fundamentally new. This is why engineers have been tasked with accelerating the final tests of Project Mirror to be ready at the moment when interest in a radically new design reaches its peak. What particularly surprises experts is that Huawei is not trying to create a temporary concept or showpiece model, as some companies have done in the past. On the contrary, the project was originally conceived as a product intended for real production. According to one employee involved in material development, Huawei not only has the technological base, but also a strategic intention to make the transparent smartphone not a symbolic step, but the beginning of a new line of devices that will develop alongside classical models. It is also known that Huawei is considering holding a closed prototype demonstration, not in China, as has usually been the case, but at a specially organized site outside the country to attract the attention of international investors. This move is extremely rare for Huawei and underscores how seriously the company is approaching Project Mirror. Some specialists already call transparent devices a potential restart point for the entire industry, which is why Huawei is currently attracting such intense attention. If Project Mirror proves successful, it could become the very technology that moves the market from the era of classical screens to the era of spatial interfaces. And it will do so not through gradual transitions, but in a single sharp leap. At that moment, the question will no longer be who made the best smartphone of the year, but who managed to offer a new model of human interaction with digital information.